What's up, guys? Brett Okamoto from ESPN, joined by Maycee Barber. UFC flyweight just got a big win at UFC 323 to finish out the year. Joins us from her truck, sitting in some parking lot. It looks like. Actually, most of the interviews I see you do, it's always in the vehicle lately. So this is
I
your
know.
interview vibe that you like to
I
go with.
know this is the interview vibe. It's usually because I'm like coming from the gym, going to the gym. And so it's like rather than trying to make it home or like driving, I'm like, let me find a good service area and just park and just sit here and do the interview. So it works.
That's how you. That's how
Yeah.
you know you do a lot of interviews in the truck is that you think about where is good service.
I know. I'm
You
like, I gotta
really
find
have
a good
done.
spot with some good service.
So where are you driving to and from? I mean, are you already, you one of those people like right back in the gym or you just got to win, holiday season is coming up, you enjoying yourself or are you right
Well,
back to
yeah,
work?
I was lifting yesterday and then or I guess it was like 2 days ago and then just today I just wanted to move around a little bit. So I went and watched practice yesterday and then today I just did a little bit of the striking practice. I'm not doing anything like sparring wise, nothing getting like sparring or anything, but um just moving around and just staying, active. But the plan is just to fight again early 2026. So
So not too much
just
celebration.
gonna stay ready. The
And you've been,
celebration was the win. So I mean, that whole thing was the celebration.
that was one question I was going to ask you because you've been doing this your whole life, like even prior to UFC, you've just been competing, so you know the feeling of big wins, but it sounds like not, but like, I think most of us, especially with how meaningful this one was, that you want to go off and just feel good about it for a while and celebrate it, right? Like, are there things that you like to do to just like get away from the fight world a little bit and just like, hey, this went well, let's celebrate it, or it really is just right back to work for you?
I mean, I think that really what it was is the win itself was the celebration, like being able to have the win for myself and for the coaches and just for everybody involved, the my boyfriend and just all of us that have put in so much effort and time and just like energy and sacrifice that we've all been working for this. The UFC has helped me with all the doctors and everything, and so just getting my hand raised was like the celebration. It was a feeling of relief. And so I don't really need to go out and like, a lot of fighters like to go and party, they like to drink, which is fine. Like I'm not saying, hey, that's a bad thing, but like for me, I'm like, I don't need that. Like my fulfillment is in knowing that we did the job. We had the success. We accomplished what we set out to accomplish. And so feeling the feeling of satisfaction of having the hand raised and just completing the task at hand is celebration enough for me, and I have a huge goal of, I want the belt. And so one fight is not enough for me and one win is not enough for me. And um I don't want to stop at that. And so, yes, we won on Saturday night, but that's not the end. That's just another step and another um check mark off the list, but we're going to keep going.
I know a lot of fighters feel the same way that you just described, but you talk about it a lot. Doesn't that add pressure when you're not just fighting for yourself, you're fighting for all those other people? You want to make right by all the work that they put into you. Like, I would think some people would just be like, they don't even want to think about that because it's already pressure enough walking into the UFC octagon, right?
It is a lot of pressure at times, but also like it's not something that like everybody else is putting that pressure on me. It's something that I'm choosing to put that pressure on myself. I don't have coaches that are like, "Oh, you have to win for me. You have to do this, you have to do that." It's like they're constantly reminding me of like you've already done it. We were already proud no matter what the outcome is. You've already made us proud. You've already done everything you need to do. We just want you to go out there, enjoy yourself, be happy, and just have fun, because all of the hard work is already done and all of that. So I do know that it's self-chosen pressure. It's I guess, desired in a way. I choose that. I choose to want to add that on top of myself and want to make them proud. And
So when they say, "Hey, all the work's done, just go out and be happy and enjoy
I'm
yourself,"
like, yeah, right.
is that how you were feeling right before the fight? Or you were just in a great place going into this one, or how was it like in the
when
week of?
they yeah when they say that, it's like it actually calms me down. It kind of reminds me of like, oh yeah, it has more of a calming effect because I do have that feeling of like I want to do all of these things, so it has more of a calming effect when people say that.
Yeah. Well, of course, I'm curious that this was a big fight for you, as they all are. You get to this level, every fight's big. But then everything that had happened and all the, last time I talked to you on camera was you didn't have a lot of answers to a lot of questions. And then you go into the same type of situation, right? I mean, this is something you were walking back into a UFC locker room where something really bad happened the last time you were there. So, how were you on the night of the fight? Did you feel any apprehension? Was it a different fight feeling just going back into that situation after what had happened earlier this year?
Yeah, I think that really what it was is that I'm fighting for the best organization in the world, and I'm fighting for a company that really does take care of the athletes. And when they knew that I was not okay and something happened on, the event that they had and their card and under their watch and on, it's not their fault, obviously. Like, that was what happened to me, was not their fault, wasn't my fault, wasn't anyone's fault. It was something that happened. But when it happened in the arena and in the Apex and all that, and they knew about it, they were like, look, we're going to get you with the best doctors and we're going to get you with the best people. And they did that, and so if I went into this fight and I was like, oh well, what if this is wrong, or what if that, they got me with the best, and I was healthy. I followed everything that the doctors told me to do, the things that they told me I needed to fix, the adjustments we needed to make, the things I needed to take, and the lifestyle changes. Everything that needed to be done, we did. And so I had nothing in training. I had nothing in camp. I had nothing during the weight cut, and I had nothing during the fight itself. And so I think that it would be a disservice to both myself and the UFC if I go into a fight and I'm like sitting there like, oh well, what if this happens and what if that happens, and I'm nervous, like I just think that it wouldn't be fair to myself or the UFC if I'm sitting there thinking about, what could go wrong, because we already did all the things that we needed to do. We worked with the best doctors and I worked with the best company to fix everything. And so once we made sure that everything was fixed, it's like, it's kind of like fixing a flat tire and then worried about, is it going to be flat again? Like,
Hmm.
it's fixed. So
Hmm.
we don't have anything to worry about. Um, and I need to trust that, because if you have second thoughts in anything, especially in fighting, you're going to get hurt. And so I'm just going to go full steam ahead, and that's all we needed to do. And I didn't even think about it, to be honest. Like, when I was cutting weight, didn't think about it. When I was warming up, didn't even question it. And when I was getting ready to walk out, didn't even think about it. Now, I can't say the same thing for my boyfriend. I can't say the same thing for the coaches. I'm sure they were all going crazy, like, what if this happens and what if that happens? Because I didn't see it, like I didn't get to experience it the same way that they did. And I'm sure that, like, to them, it was a pretty traumatic event, and it was a way different experience. And so there were several times that while I was cutting weight this time, some of the people that saw, like, how my cut was the last time, I was like, hey, look, come in and see me when I'm cutting weight. Like, this is how it's supposed to be. Like, this is the normal weight cut, I'm healthy.
Hmm.
I'm okay, like, so I wanted everyone to see that, because I'm like, I know when I'm healthy and I know when I'm not. And so I was just like, this is what a normal thing looks like, and I could tell. And so I think that for me, I felt great, and I think
Yeah.
that everyone else saw it too.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. They would
Yeah,
have a different perspective than you, but I also
for
like hear
sure.
exactly what you're saying. Like you're gonna go on this ride, so like, what's good worrying about it doing, And
Yeah.
like, but you are human, and but it does sound like you're in a good place and that you've moved past it, and maybe your team is starting to move past it because now they see that everything's going well. I wanted to ask you about what you think about the fan base and what you think, like, will they move past it? And what kind of relationship do you have with the fan base now? And what kind of relationship do you want? Because, you came in at such a young age and you've had highs and you've had lows. And I know that sometimes even during our last conversation that like you're very much in the public eye where people can just leave comments to you all the time. And I know even after this last fight, you said, I'm not even reading the comments anymore. But I know you probably want a relationship with your fan base. Where are you at in terms of like you are a public figure, you're fighting for a championship. How do you think the fans feel about you? Do you care? And what are you doing? Like, what is your stance on it? What is your feelings towards it?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of like mixed feelings. There's been a lot of different people saying like, good things, bad things, and like I said, I don't try to read comments just because I'm like, I don't like to have negative energy. I don't like to have people saying good things, bad things. It is, I don't feel like I need to get my validation from people that, one, are not paying my bills, two, are not speaking life into me, are not people that, are in a place of something that I'm trying to go towards. I try to look for wisdom from people that are someplace that I'm trying to accomplish or are somewhere that I'm trying to get. And so I don't necessarily go to the comment section for life advice. I don't go to the comment section for wisdom. I don't go to the comment section for financial advice. And I most definitely don't go to the comment section for fighting advice. And so if I'm going to go to the comment section and I want to scroll through, and there are times where like, um, I've tried to be a little bit more like, uh, conversational in the comment section a little bit now, because I do understand that there are people that have followed some of the journey, and that have paid attention, and they are supportive. There are some people that have paid attention and aren't just talking crap about me, aren't just being like, oh, you should go die, and oh, it's because, you made an addition to your body, and it's because you should start an OnlyFans, and you did this, and you did that. And I think that, yes, there is a population out there that has that, but there's also a population out there that, actually do want to support. And it does mean a lot, and I didn't start this career just to be alone, I didn't start this career just to be, just fighting and just be like, oh, I want to keep it all to myself. Like, I do want to share it with the world. And it is sad that, we have such a weird dynamic in this like social media where you could just hide behind a computer and talk crap all the time. But for everybody that talks crap, there's so many people out there that are good, that are either searching for something, looking for something good. um and I think that I need to not just be completely closed off, and so I've tried to be a little bit more like open to it. So I do have a mixed response on that. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
really a good answer, Um, but I do want to have, a good fan base, and I do want to have a good like relationship with the fans. And I don't want it to just be like, oh, cool, I have people that love me, I have people that hate me. It's like I would rather have people that love me and like actually get to know them. Like that'd be cool, like I'd
Yeah.
actually like to hear about it, rather than just be like, oh, cool, you got people that like you, people that hate you, and never hear anything about them,
Yeah.
um and that's what I kind of don't like about social media, is that you don't get to know anything about people. That's what I miss about being able to like when they had the Apex cards, like they took away like actual fan experiences. Like they took away, getting to interact. And so even being on Fight Week, like I loved it. Like I got to see the fans. I got to take pictures with fans. Like I was like, this is great. Like people actually, it seems like they're actually supportive, and like sure there are some haters, but like you don't see them, you
Yeah.
only feel the good, and like that's a good feeling, and I feel like that is more of like that personal connection that we get to feel. And those are the fans that I want. I want the fans that want to line up, that want to talk to you, that don't just want to text and like message on Instagram and comment. I want the fans that want to line up outside of a building, and meet you and see you, because I'm like, that's the kind of fans I want.
Yeah. Real human interaction, which this world is
Yeah.
moving away from, unfortunately. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's what I did when I met Ronda. Like, I got to line up at the bookstore and meet Ronda when I was a fan. Like, I was like, that's what I wanted to do, Like,
hmm.
and so that's what I think is cool, and that's what I miss.
I'm sorry, you probably told that story before, but what happened with the Ronda, the meetup?
Well, this was when Ronda was like still fighting, and I was like a huge fight fan, obviously. And it was like when I had just decided I wanted to fight, and she came to Denver and she did like a book signing for her book.
Mhm.
And my mom and I came and we were like, oh, we're gonna go to the book signing. And I went to the book signing and I got in line and I was like, oh, I'm gonna meet Ronda Rousey. And so I went and I met her. I think I
Hmm.
have a picture somewhere buried deep down, but yeah. And that was like the first UFC fight I ever went to, is when um she fought Nunes. And
Hmm.
so yeah. So I was a huge fan, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna meet Ronda, and like that was like, to me that was cool, like that is the fan that I want. I want the
For
fan
sure.
that goes and lights up.
Yeah. And like to your point, you get to have that fan interaction during fight week and then you fight in front of fans. And can you just
Hmm.
speak to man, you're in a tough fight. It's very close. You get kicked in the head illegally and but this is like you're in your happiest place, huh? Like that was you and does it get any better than that than being in the octagon and doing that on Saturday night?
It really doesn't. And even at the interview, I know Joe was like asking me, he's like, "But you got kicked in the head." And I was like, "Yeah, but I wanted to be here." So I'm like, "I don't even care." And I was like, I think I was still like a little foggy. I was like, "I don't even know what you're talking about, Joe, but I don't even care." But yeah, no, I really did. I'm like, we worked so hard to get there, and it had been so long. It had been 21 months, and it's like it had been so many camps of like so much training, and oh, you're gonna fight Rose, and then main event, and this is your first opportunity to be a main event in Denver where you made your debut.
Hmm.
Just kidding, you're sick, and then it's like, okay, you're gonna fight Aaron, and you're gonna be um was it main event with Aaron, and it's like you're gonna be at the Apex, and here you go. Now you're gonna fight her, and just kidding. Now you're sick, or
Hmm.
like you're about to walk out, and then it's like not only that, but it's like your whole paycheck. Like I had gone through two camps, and when you don't fight for 21 months, it's like I don't have another job, and so like that always also financially it's tough. And so it was just like it was a lot of stress, and there's a lot of stress on my coaches. Like I have a coach that Guilherme, he uh he's from Brazil, but he lived in Sacramento, and I convinced him to move with me. We moved from Sacramento to Wisconsin, then we moved back to Sacramento, and then we moved to Denver, and now we live in Denver. And that man and his girlfriend, they have moved not once, but twice. No, not once, not twice, but three times now.
Hmm.
And we haven't been able to fight. And so it's just been like such a long journey for myself, for him.
I can't help sitting here thinking of listening to all of that and you moving around and your coach following you and you're sick and oh you get this big opportunity to fight in Denver, you're sick, you're going to be at the Apex, you're sick and like all of this, I can't help but think this is way better than had you won the belt at 23 years old like you wanted to. Like this story is so much better, but that's me as the viewer. Do you feel that way or like would winning the
My
title at
whole story is
23
gonna
have
be
been
one
pretty
hell of a
nice?
movie, okay? If you put my entire story together from like the very beginning until now, and then you include the belt when I get it, and say I never even touch the belt, which I plan on having it. But say I never did. It is still an incredible, incredible journey that I've been able to accomplish, and an incredible story that I've had, and like to be able to share it with everybody is like for people to hear the things I've been able to like overcome, and just like some of the stories are wild. I mean, you've heard some of them, and it's just like that happened, and what in the world? Like the stalker I've had to deal with, and just like the infection, and the not being able to walk out on fight night, and just you put it all together, and it's like whoa, and I think it's crazy, but at the same time it's beautiful, and it's like I'm only 27, I'm gonna have the belt one day, and I can just feel it, like this is one hell of a movie.
It sure has. It has been. And it's like you say, it's not over by a long shot. Only 27 still somehow after all these years you've been in the UFC still.
I know,
Uh,
I feel like I'm like it's like a standstill my age. I'm like wow.
I want to ask you, do you I mean forever, like it's been Valentina and it's just like when I get to the belt it's going to be Valentina. It's almost like every flyweight sort of knows that. But then she sort of went through that period where she didn't look as dominant as before and the division is deep. I mean Manon Fior gave her a very challenging fight. Natalia Silva looks good. Aaron Blanchfield looks good. Like in your mind, is it still like when I get the belt, when I have the title fight, it's going to be Valentina Shevchenko standing across from me, or is that sort of been blurred now?
um That's a good question. I don't know if I really even, I mean, at the same, I always say I'm like, I don't care. I don't care who's in my way. I'm going to take them out. Um, because when I picture the belt, all I see is gold. Um, and it's such a weird thing because I mean there's injuries, there's matchups, there's girls changing weight classes. I've heard a couple of different things of, Valentina saying she might move up, and if
Hmm.
she moves up, are they going to make her vacate the title? Are they not going to make her vacate? And if they do make her vacate, is there going to be an interim belt? So I think it's not really like, is it up to me? Because if it's up to me, it's like I fight once early in 2026 and get the title shot. And if that's the case, Valentina has the belt. If I don't fight early 2026, I want the title shot right away. And Valentina has the belts. But if Valentina decides to move up, then they vacate it. Then who fights for the interim? And I expect to fight for the interim. So then who am I fighting for that interim? And so it's like, well, then it's kind of a blurred face because who else is there to fight for the interim belt? So
Yep.
um I think it's kind of a moving target. I don't know if there's like a strict answer, but at the same time, when you think of the women's flyweight champion right now, it's Valentina Shevchenko because that's who it's been, you know?
Hmm.
Um, but then we'll see.
Yep. I know you've asked for Alexa Grasso, but you want to fight very soon. Like, does it matter to you? And do you think the UFC is on board with it? Like, can we expect to see you, do you think, in the first quarter of 2026?
Yeah, I already talked to the UFC, and they know that I want to fight early 2026. So we're working on it, and we'll see what they come up with. But I've always been calling for that rematch, so we'll see. I know that she's dealing with some stuff. So I know that she was originally scheduled to fight with Rose, and then she got pulled from that fight. So it all depends on if she's healthy, and then it also depends on, again, at the top, it's all about who's injured, who's healthy,
Yep.
who's scheduled, who's not, because I mean there's only so many of us, and who's booked and who's not. So um we'll see what the UFC thinks, and what makes sense, and who's in line for the belt. So
Yep.
kind of, whatever makes sense.
Yep. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you early half of 2026. Thank you for taking the time with me. My last question before you go, when the movie starts on the Maycee Barber life, where does the movie start? What is the opening scene? And this is kind of an obvious question when you're talking about this stuff, but who plays you? Who's the actress that plays you? But I'm actually more
Oh
interested in where the
man.
movie starts.
Oh. Well, I guess so. I've already been working on my book. Um and I've been writing it myself for a while. I've just been trying to practice, like, not practice, but I've been like writing for a few years. I've just been always just like writing things down, and in my head, like, I always picture there's a picture on my mom's fridge of of me as a little girl, and I have stickers all over my face, and I'm pretty sure I have like a sucker or something in my hand, and um and I always remember, like, I don't know why. Like, it always makes me cry because I'm like, in my head, I always look at that picture and I'm like, damn, if that little girl knew what life had in store for her, like, she would be blown away.
Hmm.
And like, I kind of think about like how the movie would start. I'm like, I picture something like that, like a young girl like that, and just being like a picture like that, and then something where it like kind of rewinds and it shows like a just like a snippet of like everything, of like, if that girl only knew like what life had in store, and God had in store for her life, like the hardships she'd have to face, the battles she'd have to overcome, the amazing things she would get to go through, and like the good times, the bad times, the tears, the times she would scream, like all of those things. I'm like, if only she knew, like would she do it all over again? And so I kind of was like, that's kind of what I picture. Um, that's what I think. And then as far as someone who played it, man, it would have to be someone like someone who I don't know. Like, it'd have to be someone who I feel like is like a very badass person, but at the same time, just like, to me, just like inspires me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's time to
I'll have
figure
to
it
figure
out.
that out.
It's time to figure it out because yeah, the story's not done yet. So we
Story's
got
not
time to
done
figure it
yet.
out. Well, pleasure talking to you as always.
Thank you.
Enjoy the win. Enjoy your holidays, and then
Thank you, you too.
we'll see you next year.
All right.